The digital revolution is a source of great expectations and promise, as the minister has mentioned, just to change the frameworks, but it's also a source of great fear of not being capable of mastering the pace of change that is being imposed on us. And let me just share with you that past technological progress, it's not only about the technological progress that we are witnessing, but it's also the pace of change that is just so fast, that is overwhelming us. Let me just share with you that the first wave of electricity, to have 25% of the population of the US joining the electrical grid, took 45 years. Telephony took 35 years. It was shorter, but still 35 years, 25%. Computers took 16 years. And the mobile phone only took 4 years. And you know that mobile phone of 5 years ago is another thing. Now we have really real computers in our mobile phone delivering a lot of services. So it's just the pace of change is amazing. The second question that is really becoming a great source of concern for people and for policymakers is how do we anticipate those changes to try to give our people the skills and the capacities to adapt. At the OECD, we have made some calculations that probably 9 to 14% of the jobs as we know them today will just disappear. But 35% of the jobs as we know them will change. And if you think about an architect that studied 30 years ago, it's completely different to what the current architects are really learning with their programs and softwares, and it's completely different. McKinsey says that it's 45%. We don't know. What we know is it's going to change. Therefore, it's another source of concern. But there is another angle that is important, that we know that it's only those that are very well prepared that is going to take advantage of it. At the OECD, we're concerned about the fact that there is a flattening out of the growth of productivity. And then you go for averages. Said, on average, productivity is stagnant. Growth is not as it was before, which is a puzzle, because this is a very rich technological era, and the productivity, you don't see it in the productivity data. But the fact is that if you go granular, you have the leading firms, the platform economy, the service economy that is growing at 3 to 5%, and the rest of the economy that is flat. And if you go for the SMEs or those that are laggard in the world of work, is just the difference is staggering. And this is a real challenge for politicians. How do we make sure that this benefits everybody together? And not opening another digital divide for many people, but also for women that is also not very well connected with this world of software and hardware. And we know also that 1/3 of the total employment is going to be lost. So the fact is, how do we address all these facts, and how do we move forward into being better prepared? And I think you put it in the skills, but then the policy frameworks, as you mentioned, Minister, and then the global standards. These are the three areas that I would propose that we could covering up. Are our education systems well prepared to give our students and the youngsters the capacity to thrive in this very rich technological environment? I doubt it. I doubt it, and we are the house that has produced the PISA report, who is measuring outcomes. It's not only about cognitive skills. We measure maths, literacy, scientific skills. It's not about that only, but even there, we still have a challenge. It's about higher level skills, social-emotional skills, because you need to be very adaptive. You are very well plugged into a very globalized economy, so you need to know global issues. So you need global competencies, which is not easy to track or to change or to. This is one of the challenges that we're facing. The second one, I think that the minister mentioned it in some form. Are the labor markets well prepared for this pace of change? No, because the entitlements, the social protection systems, the active labor market policies are linked to a job. They're not linked to a person. How do we make all these entitlements linked to a person? Because a person is going to be changing jobs. So you don't protect jobs, you protect the person. And this is one of the challenges. And the third issue is global standards. How do we manage data? What's the governance of big data? How do we make sure that data that is produced by the big platforms is also shared by everybody? Because what is happening is that you are confronting in the future the fact that there are some very big companies that are producing and using the data to feed the next artificial intelligence production, and then the rest will just be looking very nicely from the fence. So I think these are very great challenges that we need to confront, and policymakers have something to do, business sector has something to do, and all of us will need to be better prepared to deal with these challenges.